Foreign Minister Badr Abdul Ati emphasizes that water security is an existential issue for Egypt. Egypt extends condolences to the government and people of Spain for the victims of recent floods. And the Ministry of Transport denies social media reports claiming the Egyptian government allowed a German ship to dock at Alexandria port. Good evening, you're watching Q News with the Egypt Bulletin. Let's get the latest developments. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Badr Abdul Ati, has met with the Ugandan President, Yoweri Museveni, in Entebbe, delivering a message from President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. The message emphasized the importance of strengthening historic ties between Egypt and Uganda and exploring ways to enhance cooperation across all fields. Minister Abdul Ati highlighted Egypt's newly announced investment mechanism for infrastructure projects in the Nile Basin countries, including water initiatives in southern Nile Basin nations. He expressed Egypt's eagerness to consult with Uganda to review the list of proposed projects and explore funding options for their implementation. The Foreign Minister has emphasized that water security is an existential issue for Egypt, stressing the importance of cooperation based on international law, particularly the principles of consensus and non-harm. In a meeting with his Ugandan counterpart, Henry Akilo Oryem, the ministers discussed various regional issues, focusing on the roles of their nations in fostering joint cooperation and working towards peaceful solutions to ongoing conflicts, particularly in Sudan, Somalia and the Horn of Africa. They also underscored the importance of Somalia's sovereignty, unity and territorial peace. The Minister of Agriculture, Alet Farouk, has met with Somalia's State Minister for Agriculture and Irrigation, Assad Abdul Razak, to discuss strengthening joint cooperation. Farouk reiterated President el-Sisi's commitment to supporting African nations and their people, stressing Africa's strategic importance. He added that cooperation could also address climate change and its impacts, including drought and desertification, which threaten agriculture and food security. Egypt has extended condolences to the government and people of Spain for the victims of recent floods. The official spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Tamim Khalaf, posted on X stating Egypt expresses its solidarity with the Spanish government and people during this difficult time. The Minister of Environment, Yasmin Foued, has announced that Egypt is among the first nations to implement nature-based solutions, NBs, along the north coast and in the Nile Delta, covering 7 governorates. Speaking on the sidelines of a new discussion paper launched by the Global Enact Partnership at the United Nations Biodiversity Conference COP16, Foued highlighted that this year has been significant for the NBs initiative, with increased efforts to expand the network of participating countries since its launch at COP27. The Ministry of Transport has denied social media reports claiming the Egyptian government allowed a German ship to dock at Alexandria port. The ministry clarified that the ship in question, the Catherine, is Portuguese registered but operates under a German flag and had docked to unload cargo for the Ministry of Military Production. According to the ministry, the ship has filed an official request to depart Alexandria and continue its route to the Haydarpasa port in Turkey. Over 3 days, the Pontifical Office for Projects and Relations organised several events under the presidential initiative Badea at St. Mark's Cathedral in Abasaya. These events focused on human development and provided educational resources across various fields. Pope Tawadros II inspected the activities on the third day, viewing artistic workshops, the Ministry of Culture's mobile library, medical convoys and an employment forum. The World Urban Forum will host a roundtable session on Thursday focused on the roles of parliamentarians in urban development. Taking place in Cairo from November 4th to the 8th, the session will discuss how lawmakers can enact regulations, adopt policies, secure financing and establish partnerships to address urban challenges and positively impact cities and societies. The Ministry of Transport has announced free buses and discounted Uber rides for attendees of the 12th World Urban Forum, taking place in Egypt from the November 4th to the 8th. The ministry arranged 100 eco-friendly buses, including 30 gas-powered and 70 electric, to operate free of charge during the forum. These buses will run from 9 key stations across Greater Cairo, with 30% equipped with accessibility features for individuals with special needs. Staying with the World Urban Forum, and Minister of Youth and Sports Ashraf Sobhi has praised the significant role of youth during the 12th session of the World Urban Forum. He emphasized the importance of Cairo Urban Week and took part in a series of events leading up to the forum, which is hosted in Cairo from November the 4th. The Minister of Housing, Sharif El-Shibini, has announced the completion of the concrete structure for the tallest tower on the Mediterranean coast. This landmark project is situated in the downtown Towers area of New Alamein City, with construction having started in February 2022. El-Shibini stated that the tower will exceed 300 meters in height, featuring 67 floors and 2 basement levels. The project utilized approximately 140,000 cubic meters of reinforced concrete, including the largest concrete pour in Africa, which totaled 19,600 cubic meters. The total area of the project is around 463,000 square meters, with a podium area of approximately 96,000 square meters and each floor covering 3,000 square meters. The joint Egyptian-American archaeological mission at the South Asasif necropolis has made a significant discovery: the first Middle Kingdom cemetery containing many previously unopened burials for men, women and children, along with unique archaeological finds. The excavation revealed 11 burials, including the skeletons of men, women and children, indicating it was a family cemetery used for several generations during the 12th and early 13th dynasties. Additionally, a variety of unique jewelry items were uncovered in the women's burials, along with other archaeological artifacts, all believed to date back to the early 12th dynasty. The National Initiative for the Development of Egyptian Industry, known as EBDA, was launched on October the 29th, 2022, during the first International Industry Forum and Exhibition to promote and localize national industries. The Minister of Housing, Sharif El-Shibini, and his Chinese counterpart, Ni Hong, have witnessed the signing of an agreement to manage and run the central business district of the new administrative capital. El-Shibini said that the consortium is set to carry out works of towers constructed in the new administrative capital, including maintenance activities. The Investment Minister, Hassan Khatib, has headed for Burundi to take part in the 23rd Summit of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, to kick off today on behalf of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. This year's summit is held under the theme of accelerating regional integration through the development of regional value chains in climate-resilient agriculture, mining and tourism. Khatib will expound Egypt's stance towards a number of issues related to enhancing intertrade among Commissar members, as well as updates of economic integration between Egypt and Commissar countries. Egypt's Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy, Mahmoud Esmat, has reviewed plans to significantly boost the country's renewable energy capacity by 2030. The aim is to achieve a 60% renewable energy share in the country's energy mix by 2040. The ambitious goal will be fueled by investments in wind and solar power, with a target of over 65 gigawatts of combined capacity. These initiatives are part of Egypt's broader strategy to reduce reliance on fossil fuels and transition to a sustainable energy future. Zamalek are primed to face NBE Club in their opening game of the 24-25 Egyptian Premier League season, determined to shake off last season's misfortunes after a narrow miss on the Champions League. With new signings like Omar Farag and De Jefferson Costa and an African Super Cup win under their belt, Zamalek looks strong. The EPL season features a new streamlined format, promising more competitive dynamics among all 18 clubs. And the Meteorological Authority expects that tomorrow the weather will be cold at night and early in the morning, moderate during the day in the north of the country and up to the north of Upper Egypt, and hot in South Sinai and the south of the country. Director General of the Department of Meteorology and Early Warning of Weather Hazards, Mahmoud Shaheen, has pointed out that tomorrow's weather will witness a continued state of instability in the weather conditions in the north of the country, accompanied by rain of varying intensity and sometimes thunderstorms with a slight decrease in temperatures. And that brings us to the end of our Egypt Bulletin. Here's what we've been covering. Foreign Minister Badr Abdel Ati emphasizes that water security is an existential issue for Egypt. Egypt extends condolences to the government and people of Spain for the recent flood victims. And the Ministry of Transport denies social media reports claiming the Egyptian government allowed a German ship to dock at Alexandria port. And that brings us to the end of our Egypt Bulletin here on Qnews. Stay with us for more. Thanks for watching.